Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on January 16th, 2025. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Do. I'm grateful to have you aboard. Having a look here at our sun for the past 48 hours, bright sunspot regions turning in, pointed out yesterday. But notice the big bright region that just kind of shows up. Equatorial region, Earth facing, and the solar X-ray influx is on the rise. But still, no major solar flares reported the last 24 hours. Amazing images of our sun today brought to you by Gong and as well Daily Events Worldwide. Go 16. Amazing images of a bright and fiery, quick forming sunspot region. Having a look at 304 angstroms showing the last 3 hours of imagery. Big plasma filament, bottom right-hand corner, getting ready to rip away, or is ripping away. Most likely will produce a coronal mass ejection, but nothing over the last 24 hours. Having a look here, we do have a pretty big coronal hole, Earth facing. A little diagram of our magnetic field on the sun during a coronal hole event. Amazing images of our sun. Thanks so much for watching today, and thank you so much for all the love and support recently to the channel. So many new followers and lots of love in those comment sections. And thank you so much. I'll be catching up soon. Another light here. Just amazing images. I love the sun. I love following the sun, and I love being able to present our sun activity to you. Right now we have 5 Earth-facing sunspots. 2 are primed, and the 2 turning in have quickly formed, and as well 3964. That was not there yesterday. Current space weather conditions, there are none to report. Solar winds are coming in at 428 kilometers per second, and that's been sustained well over 400 kilometers per second for the past couple days. Solar X-ray flux, as you can see here, on a steady increase. Proton flux is low. Geomagnetic activity still a little bit high, hovering in the KP3 range. Space Weather Prediction Center showing here the next space weather event, which is the coronal hole. That is, all of that yellow and red is the coronal hole wind stream. So we will see some accelerated wind speeds hitting our planet. These diagrams on the right-hand side is Earth, and that is a very large coronal hole wind stream coming from that big black spot on the sun. Other than that, no major solar storms thwarted our way. Aurora forecast is low. ISWA Space Prediction Spiral, no update since last night. Still showing CME taking off towards Bepi satellite. LASCO 2, this is a smaller spectrum, smaller view of what we normally look at. It did not catch the Atlas comet going across. But as you can see here, showing the last 7 days, no major coronal mass ejections or solar storms. Pretty quiet still. Calm before the storm? I think so, and even with earthquakes. Let's have a look at earthquakes the past 24 hours. You notice anything peculiar here? There are no earthquakes over here. No earthquakes being reported in South America, nor Central America. A lot of activity has gone to Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano, which erupted last night after the update. Largest earthquake the past 24 hours, 5.7, Solomon Islands. Some pretty deep shakers, though. Izu Islands, Japan, and as well Fiji. Even notable earthquake there, 4.3, south of Kamchatka. Notable activity, Tibetan Plateau, yet again, or still. Same with the African plate. Ethiopia is a rockin'. Couple active volcanoes through the region. Also at the North Pole towards Iceland. We do have a situation developing there. having a look at volcano discovery, as this is where you can see all of the earthquakes. Overlooking Greece, Italy, the Gibraltar Strait here, minor activity. But then moving up into Iceland, you can see minor seismicity north of Reykjanes, Reykjavik, Borgarnes, but also at Barbabunga volcano. There's been volcanic activity reported since January 14th. And this is a volcano under a huge glacier. Trust me, we do not want this thing erupting. Definitely not. 72 active and erupting volcanoes around the world. We've got enough to contend with. We don't need a Bunga Bunga volcano in Iceland awakening. Now let's have a glance at the last 7 days for shakers and movers around the world, largest being the 6.8 that hit Japan just a few days ago. But notable, quiet, seismic activity for the past 24 hours across South America and Central America. Heads up, my friends. Something is brewing. You live in an earthquake-prone zone, just be ready and have a plan. Hashtag no fear here. Now let's have a look at the air quality forecast brought to you by windy.com and our active and erupting 72 volcanoes across the planet. Notable plumes coming out of Mexico, of course, Kilauea after the most recent eruption last night, and Kamchatka. But notable plumes coming out of the New Madrid, United States. Most of the wildfire smoke scooted out to the Pacific, so that air quality is coming from something else. Overlooking Southeast Asia, China, and Africa. Still heavy particulates through India and China, and as well notable plumes coming out around the Solomon Islands region. And a new big plume coming out of Central Africa at the Nyiragongo and Nyiragongo volcanoes. And notable plumes coming out of Central America, Virgin Islands. Now let's have a look at world weather here, as we've got some pretty nasty systems scooting up the eastern seaboard of the United States. They're going to head up into Greenland, creating blizzard-like conditions, with a big Alberta clipper scooting in behind that. Long-range forecast, big stormy conditions heading towards the United Kingdom and Ireland. The long-range forecast, all of that activity that came out of the Gulf, heading straight across the Atlantic. So Gulf moisture smashing into Ireland and the United Kingdom in the long range. And watch all these lows just invade all of Europe. So it's going to be a wet and wild week ahead for most of Europe. Very snowy and windy conditions for Greenland and most of eastern Canada and northeastern United States, as the polar vortex is still coming in for next week. Minus 30 degrees Celsius and colder. Overlooking South America and Africa, watch for flood conditions to develop parts of South Africa and as well Madagascar. Lingering low there, that thing's spinning around the region in between Mozambique and Madagascar for days. So days upon days of rain for South Africa. Heads up, I'm sure you could use it, but not this much, especially parts of Madagascar. Overlooking Australia, Southeast Asia, stormy conditions all across the northern regions of Australia, as a lingering low is scooting along the coastline there, turning into a cyclone in the long range as it scoots offshore. Notable system there affecting Tasmania. No major typhoons or cyclones here developing or forecast, but notable strong low here developing for the Northern Territory of Australia. Still, very big, strong low-pressure systems, both the Pacific and the Atlantic. I wanted to share here with you satellite imagery overlooking the strong low that affected Los Angeles during the fires. That low-pressure system scooting out into the Pacific. But look over the Pacific Ocean. See those long lines streams of whatever they are. Those are not clouds. They're seeding. And if you watch closely, you can see how dense this low pressure system was, lower level low, producing gravity waves right across the Pacific Ocean as dense, cold air was smashing into it. And as I said, notice all those lines in behind there, north-northwest of the center of the low. Much love, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. Stay aware and prepared.